everyone, welcome and thank you for joining this webinar, the third and the final one in the series. And today we'll see how Microsoft Project for the Web and Project Online can be better together when used across the organization by providing teams with a right solution for them. Within this session, you'll see a high-level demo of both solutions alongside some joined views through Power BI and Microsoft Roadmap. My details will be shared at the end, but you can get in touch during the session by using the Q&A panel, so feel free to post questions and I will answer them as soon as I can. Before looking at the solutions, a little bit about Wellingtone. So we started way back in 2001, which is a distant memory now, as a pure project management consulting firm based in Windsor, and today we've got offices in the UK, Ireland and Spain. We do offer a wide variety of services now that span consultancy, training and technology, with a focus primarily on project and work management. We have managed to collect quite a few badges along the journey, so we are now a Microsoft Gold certified project and portfolio management partner. We're also an APM accredited training provider, an accredited P3M3 assessor, and an approved G Cloud supplier as well, which would be of interest to any of those organizations that have tuned in that maybe belong to public sector. We also run and compile the annual State of Project Management report, and we also deliver the annual Future PMO conference, which normally attracts around 350 delegates. However, this year, in light of a pandemic, this is now a free virtual event that's actually going to span an entire week, and that starts on the 28th of September. Further details on what we do and upcoming events available at wellington.co.uk. Along the journey, we have managed to work with quite an eclectic mix of clients, and there are quite a few case studies available now on our website, so please do check it out by following the link displayed. And by the way, I should have mentioned earlier, but if anybody that's tuned in wants a copy of a slide deck, get in touch with me using the details that are coming up afterwards, and I'll be more than happy to share it out. So let's take a quick look at the typical organization and how the Microsoft Work and Project Management platform can really help you out. The typical organization is made up of a variety of departments and teams, and in one way or another, they're likely to be interconnected and potentially running joint projects, campaigns, product launches, or any other work management activities. However, though, within the typical organization, it's likely that various teams are using different apps and managing work in their own unique ways. It's not often efficient, and collaboration, it's likely to rely on things like emails, and typically there is no joint view or clear visibility of project statuses, so you don't know what's happening or what actions to take. The good news, however, is that increasingly the typical organization is now starting to adopt Microsoft 365, through which you've got access to a number of project and work management solutions, including Planner, the recently launched Project for the Web, and of course Microsoft Project Online, through which teams work the way in which they want and organizations still get the results that they need. So for teams that need a simple board-based solution to create lightweight plans, there's Microsoft Planner. For those teams or areas that need a bit more functionality, for example, the ability to create task dependencies and to access traditional timeline views and the scheduling power of Microsoft Project in the back end, we have the recently launched Project for the Web. And whilst for real power users that might not be quite enough, we do have Project Online, which gives you the ability to set things like baselines, view critical paths, and access enterprise level resource management capability as well. In some areas, a department may just use the single solution. In others, there might be multiple teams involved with varying levels of maturity, so a hybrid approach might be a bit more sensible. So we could have scenarios where both Project for the Web and Project Online are being used, and that again is what we're focusing on today. Just before delving into the demo, here's a very quick feature comparison between the plans, with some of the key high-level differences being highlighted. You can also go and access this table and further information at the address that's displayed at the bottom. To summarize and wrap this up, here are a few considerations for either Project for the Web or Project Online. So by selecting Project for the Web, you get access to the latest features and innovations. This is where Microsoft are investing. So that is Project for the Web. You'll also get access to simpler user interface, or a simpler user interface, I should have said, that for most user groups, including accidental project managers, will be more intuitive and easier to get to grips with. And lastly, many of you are probably familiar with Microsoft 365 groups, and the good news here is that Project for the Web is tied into this, making it easier to collaborate, especially when you're in other applications like Microsoft Teams. By going for Project Online, you gain access to a range of features that aren't available within Project for the Web, such as enterprise resource management, which I touched upon earlier, and portfolio analysis. Project Online is also built on Sharepoint, so it provides some native integration, which is quite nice. There's obviously more to consider, but both solutions have their respective benefits and pros and cons. And as we're about to get started, as you can see on the screen, both can coexist, as long as you have access to either Project Plan 3 or Project Plan 5. So that's now time for us to see the solutions in action. Before I go into the demo, I do just want to say a very quickly caveat that this will be a high-level overview of Project for the Web and Project Online to highlight how you might be able to get joint visibility between the two different solutions. And when I do demonstrate Project for the Web today, I'll be focusing on the core solution. So that's Microsoft Project Plan 1, rather than demonstrating some of the extensibility that's available through Power Apps, which is something that I have covered on a separate webinar. So for now, what I'm going to do is just jump over to my demo environment. So we're going to start here in Office 365. This is the home page. And again, let me just point out very quickly that if you have got questions, feel free to raise them using the Q&A panel on GoToMeeting, and I'll be able to answer those at the end. But going back to the home page now of Microsoft 365, of interest for us today is Project itself, and that's where we are going to go. I've already got the tab open actually. And before I demonstrate some of the shared visibility, I'm just going to reiterate and replay to you some of the key differences between the two solutions. So in order to do that, I'm first of all going to go into creating a brand new project using Project Plan 1, which is otherwise known as Project for the Web. And again, the user audience for this are people that are maybe not professional project managers. It's teams that need to get to grips very quickly with their plans, and they need something that's quite intuitive that enables them to start going in, building up their plans in a basic fashion and assigning some resources against them and some effort and duration estimates. So this is Project for the Web, and I'm going to go in now and start creating a new project. So let's call this setup. That's the first task. We'll then go in, create task 1, task 2, task 3, and we'll add in task 4. And one of the things you might have noticed if you've used Project on the desktop previously is how simple this interface is. It doesn't have that complex ribbon with all of the multitude of options that Project itself presents, but it's very easy again to get to grips with. So I've started creating a basic structure. I'm going to go in and make these items subtasks. I can go in, assign resources, and I'll do that in just a moment. But before I do that, let me go in and add some additional columns. So let's drop in effort. We'll also drop in things like effort completed, effort remaining, and we can also drop in depends on, so that we can monitor any dependencies. First thing I'm going to do is go in and try and assign a resource. So in order to do that, I'm going to type in the name of my favorite colleague, and that is Megan. And when I do that, straight away, you can see that it gives us the option of connecting our project to a group. And I mentioned this earlier, that this is tied into the Office 365 or the Microsoft 365 security groups. And I'm going to, rather than create a brand new group, I'm going to add this to an existing group. So I have various groups already set up. I'll add it to this Project for the Web group that I set up earlier on today. So add and assign. And when I do that, you'll see that the group members, or the number of group members, now jumps up, or it will do any moment now. So it's jumped up to 5 group members. If I click on that, I can see the other team members within this specific group. So when I go into add other resources now, it's going to enable me to pick from that team. At the moment, as it stands, individuals that are assigned work items do not receive alerts. However, that is one of the features that is coming. I can now also go in, start typing in duration. So we'll say 5 days for this. Let's say 3 days for that, 6 days for this, and let's go for 7 days for the final one. I've also got effort being populated. Effort and duration could be different. So even though I've assigned somebody's 5 days duration to complete some work, I might indicate here that there's only actually 2 days worth or 8 hours or 16 hours worth of work for you to complete over that duration. I can also go in and drop in dependencies. So if I click onto that, it's showing me the earlier tasks. Now, aside from looking at this view, in fact, one of the things that I haven't done is give this project a title. So let's call this one Better Together. And I will now get rid of that. So aside from this view, the traditional grid view, which is probably quite familiar if you've used Microsoft Project in the past, we also have access to some agile views or Kanban views through the board view that I'm going to go into now. So the first screen that I've landed on is a blank canvas almost. I've got my initial bucket. I can go in and rename that, and I can also go in and add my custom buckets as required. Aside from this, I've also got access to some standard out-of-the-box views, including progress buckets or by grouping things by finish date. For now, let's go into progress, and automatically we can see that we've now got 3 buckets, one of which states not started, the other one is in progress, and then we also have completed. And to update the status of any one of these tasks, all I do is click and drag. So this one is now marked as being 50% complete. And this, by the way, is replicated here as well. So this task now has 18 hours of work completed. So that's the board view. We also have access to my favorite, which is the timeline view. Highly interactive, really visual, and it's very straightforward to start using. So if I want to create links between the tasks, all I need to do is click, drag and drop, and I've created a link. If I decide that I need to spend a bit longer on a particular task, I can extend it out. And again, I can link that up as well. And this one here, again, let's just do one final link. So really quite easy to use and very visual. Again, this is very much catering for the accidental project manager or those individuals or those teams that are managing relatively simple projects. I'm going to go in and mark a task complete, only because I like that sound. Okay, so that was Project Plan 1, Project for the Web, in its basic guise. Really simple, very easy to get to grips with and start using without really much training at all. As I mentioned earlier before I got into the demo, this can be extended by using Power Apps. I'm not demonstrating that today. We do have a video on our YouTube channel, which is available at youtube.com/Wellingtone PPM that does take you through a demo of Project Plan 1 in greater detail than what I've covered here so far. But we also have a separate video that actually shows you the enhancements you can make through Power Apps. But what I'm going to do now is just jump over and show you a bit of Project Online. And the reason I'm showing you this right now is just really to compare and contrast against Project Plan 1. So Project Online is a solution that's been available since the early 2000s, but in the cloud since 2013 within Microsoft 365. It is very much geared up for mature teams that need access to a wide variety of features. And in fact, I should also say that even though it does provide a lot of functionality, many organizations, when they first deploy this, wouldn't roll out all of the features on day one. They can add those features on in due course as and when their maturity increases and when they want to start working on more sophisticated engagements. But within the homepage, it might be apparent, but this is built on top of SharePoint. There is that native integration of SharePoint. You've also got the ability within Project Online to go in and create various templates. And these templates are really quite powerful because when you select a template to base your project upon, and these, by the way, are bespoke. You don't get any templates out of the box. But what end users are presented with are onboarding forms, or otherwise known as project detail pages, where they can feed in some of the key information about the project that would then obviously help drive the business case, project approvals, and also reporting on the other end. So it does provide screens like this, and as part of a template, we can also invoke workflows to guide project managers through the project lifecycle, ensuring that there is consistency and that the governance is being adhered to as well. And as part of a template, we can also provide end users with a schedule template for their project types. And we also provide project sites, which is where you would store your RAID logs as well as your project documentation. Now, finishing out of a screen, we're going to head over to the Project Center, and straight away you can see that it does provide a really nice view of the entire project portfolio. This is only one example view. You can go in and select from other views as well, and you can set up your own bespoke views as required. But you can see that it's quite detailed. We've got facility there for end users to go in and provide an indication of how the project is progressing. But then, because within project itself you can set baselines, we can also do comparisons of how the project is performing over time against various KPIs. How is it performing from a schedule perspective, from a work perspective? Have we completed as much work as what we expected in this time frame? And we can also check cost KPIs, and these are objective KPIs that are being fed through the system by comparing the baseline against the progress to date. So straight away you can see that there is some additional functionality here that you don't have access to through Project Plan 1. I can also drill down into the projects and show you a bit more. Ignore that screen for now. Let's go to the main summary page. And you'll see here that we've got a workflow overview of how the project is progressing through the life cycle. We can also see which stage gates have been completed and where we are at the moment. And aside from this, you can also go in and access the detailed schedule, which will look very similar to Microsoft Project on the desktop. There we go. So we have a timeline view at the top. Lots of information being presented on the screen as it stands. But if I go into the views, I can also access a multitude of views. Aside from this, Project Online also gives each and every project a project site, which is this. So this again representing here the timeline of the overall project. We can also go in, look at things like late tasks, upcoming tasks. We can also see when the next milestone is due. And we also provide a number of logs as part of Project Online. Now, again, it was part of Project Plan 1. When you look at that in isolation, you don't obviously get this, but if you are using Project Plan 3 or Project Plan 5 and you have extended Project for the Web with Power Apps, you can replicate some of this functionality. However, what you can't get access to in Project for the Web at the moment is enterprise-wide resource management. So here within Project Online, I have my resource pool and I can select my resources, and straight away I can go and see what they're actually working on. And I do have some corresponding reports here. So here is a resource report that's driven by the data that's captured within Project Online. Of course, I have various filters along the top, and here I can see things like demand and capacity over time, availability over time, and I can also produce availability heat maps, which is something that at the moment you cannot do with Microsoft Project for the Web. So these are some of the key differences, and I appreciate that this is a bit of a whirlwind tour. We do, again, within our YouTube channel, have some real deep dive videos available, so I do encourage you to go and check that out. But in the meantime, what I am going to do now is start highlighting how we can get some shared views between Project for the Web and Project Online, because within the typical organization, the PMO, for example, might be using Project Online because they need that enhanced capability. But then you will have various pockets and satellite offices within the organization for whom Project Online is a bit too much, and Project for the Web is absolutely the right fit. So how do you get shared visibility? So there's a few ways in which you can do that. First of all, I'm going to go back to this screen, and this is Project Home. So this is designed to provide the end user that's logged in with a single view of all of the projects that they are involved in. And what you can see here is that I have a list of various projects, but against them, I can also see the project type. So this is a Project for the Web project. In fact, this is the one that we just created a few moments ago. But here I also can see my Project Web App or Project Online project as well in a single view within Project Home. Associated to this, we can also go in and access what's called a roadmap view. So I do actually have that open here. And the audience for the roadmap view are typically senior executives who want to understand at a high level what's taking place, what's on track, what's falling behind, what do I need to pay my attention to, and this is that view. So project managers can go in, they can add rows, and then they can link them to individual projects and then pull in the respective tasks and milestones that they want to visualize on the roadmap screen. So here at the top, I can see an example of a project that is being pulled in from Project for the Web, and these are the tasks within it. I can see their statuses. So this one is currently on track, this one is at risk, and this item here does not currently have a status set against it. But what's nice about these views, by the way, is that these are linked to live projects in the background. So if the project, whether it's in Project for the Web or Project Online, moves out, you will see the timeline move out here as well. And as well as using this view for visualizing active project portfolios, you can also use this actually for pre-planning. So before there is a detailed plan in the background, you can do some high-level planning around the timeframes and then flesh them out in greater detail as you move forward. But along the top, again, we had a project being pulled in from Project for the Web, indicated by PTW along the top. And then here we have a project that's being pulled in from Project Online, being represented by Poll. And again, we can pull in summary tasks, detailed tasks, milestones, anything you want. So that is another way in which you can get a centralized view of what's going on. But lastly, we also have Power BI, and Power BI is really, really good. And it's very good at stitching together data from different platforms, different solutions. In this example, I'm pulling in data from Project Online and Project for the Web, but we can also pull in data from the likes of Azure DevOps, from Sharepoint, and even from third-party solutions as well, to give you a single view of what's going on. So in this example, this is the portfolio dashboard. I've got various filters along the top, where I can choose which departments I want to pull data in from. I can choose different project types, different owners, but here I can also specify which project system I want to see the data from. So we've selected everything, and that's what we're seeing here. So if we look at this list here at the bottom in this table, we can see the project system that the projects are being managed in, and we also have hyperlinks into those projects. So if we want to get more detail, we can pull that through. But here we can also see the percentage complete of a project, and we can also see who's winning in terms of having ownership of the highest number of projects. So that's obviously Lydia, followed by Ted, then Alex. We can also see the makeup of the project types and some high-level KPIs being represented there on the left-hand side. We can also go in and look at joint timeline views, which is really quite handy. Not dissimilar to the roadmap, but this, I guess, is at a higher level than what we saw previously. We have got various filters that we can play with along the top. We can also see shared milestones, and I'm hoping that I have got some milestones in there. We have, that's good. So we can see here milestones that have been completed in the last 30 days, and we can also see some milestones that are upcoming in the next 30 days. Finally, we've also got a shared view of resource assignments. So again, Project for the Web does not give you detailed resource management capability, but we can produce some rudimentary reports like this that show you where people are working and how many hours are currently booked in. So this, again, across both systems, Project Online and Project for the Web. So guys, that concludes this really brief demonstration of how you can get a shared view of what's going on if you're using both Project for the Web and Project Online together in the organization. And we personally think that that is a really good way of working, dependent upon the levels of maturity that you have within your organization. If you do want to see more of a deep dive, then please get in touch. More than happy to take you through it. So if you'd like to learn a bit more, we can facilitate an envisioning workshop to help you analyze your current ways of working, understand the pain points, and to show you the art of the possible and what the potential solution mix might look like. Alternatively, if you want to go through a formalized proof of concept, we can absolutely help you with that by giving you an environment whereby you can visualize your data and processes within the Microsoft 365 platform. And of course, we can help you to go all the way with a phased implementation of modern work management. And lastly, if you do want to trial the system, do you have access to SDPS vouchers? That stands for Sharepoint Deployment Planning Services. If you do, we can provide you with free envisioning and planning sessions. If you follow that link on our website, it will give you more information around that specific topic. So that is the end of this very short and sweet session. I'm sure that you have questions, so please don't hesitate to get in touch using the details displayed. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can do so either by searching for my name. There is only one Baz Kinder on LinkedIn. I have searched multiple times, or you can scan the QR code via LinkedIn on your phone. Please do also check out the Wellingtone website and follow us on LinkedIn, where we regularly announce new events. I am going to open the floor up now for questions. So if you've got any questions, please do ask. I'm happy to answer them.